Welcome to the Ultimate Bible Challenge. Today we'll name all 66 books of the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. It's a wild ride through history, faith, and epic stories. Ready? Let's unlock the Bible, starting now. Genesis, where it all begins. Creation, Adam and Eve, the fall, Noah's Ark, Abraham's promise, and Joseph's rise in Egypt. The ultimate origin story, setting the stage for everything that follows. Exodus, the ultimate escape story. Moses rises from slave to leader, faces Pharaoh, and, after plagues and miracles, leads the Israelites out of Egypt, through the parted Red Sea, toward freedom and a new beginning. After escaping Egypt, the Israelites got Leviticus, the ultimate rule book. It's not just random rules. It's about building a holy nation, living near God, and learning about grace, sacrifices, festivals, and the Day of Atonement, all pointed to a way back to God. In Numbers, Israel stands at the edge of the promised land, but fear and doubt lead to rebellion. God sends them on a 40-year desert journey. Only the faithful enter. It's a lesson in trust, failure, and God's faithfulness. Deuteronomy is Moses' final pep talk. He urges the new generation, love God with all your heart, choose life, and stay faithful. Moses sees the promised land, passes leadership to Joshua, and the journey continues. After 40 years in the desert, Joshua leads the Israelites into Canaan. Jericho's walls fall, and the land is divided among the tribes. It's a story of courage, faith, and God keeping promises, ending with Joshua's challenge: choose whom you will serve. After Joshua dies, Israel falls into a wild cycle. They forget God, suffer under enemies, cry out for help, and God sends judges, unlikely heroes like Deborah, Gideon, and Samson, to rescue them. But peace never lasts. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. After the chaos of Judges, Ruth is a breath of fresh air, a story of loyalty and love. Ruth, a foreigner, chooses to stay with her widowed mother-in-law, Naomi, showing selfless devotion. Her kindness is rewarded, and she becomes the great-grandmother of King David. First, Samuel marks a turning point, the end of the judges, the rise of kings. Samuel, born from Hannah's prayer, becomes prophet and anoints Saul, Israel's first king. It's a dramatic shift, new leaders, new challenges, and the start of epic stories that shape a nation. Second Samuel is the epic story of King David, his rise from shepherd to Israel's greatest king, his triumphs, and his tragic failures. From uniting the tribes and bringing the ark to Jerusalem to his darkest mistakes, David's life is a roller coaster of glory and heartbreak. First, Kings begins with King David's death and Solomon's rise. Solomon's wisdom and wealth bring Israel to its golden age, but his heavy taxes and idol worship lead to disaster. After Solomon, the kingdom splits in two, Israel and Judah. The united glory is lost. Second Kings is a wild ride. Prophets, miracles, and kingdoms falling apart. Elisha performs epic miracles, but the kings keep making terrible choices. Assyria wipes out Israel, Babylon destroys Jerusalem, and exile follows. The fall of kingdoms, total game over. First Chronicles rewinds Israel's story, giving hope to exiles rebuilding their lives. It starts with epic genealogies, reminding them of their roots and God's promise. Then, it spotlights King David's legacy, his victories, passion, and preparations for the temple, urging everyone to rebuild with faith. Second Chronicles tells the epic story of Solomon, the temple, and the kings of Judah. When the people are faithful, blessings follow. When they turn away, disaster strikes. The book ends with hope. King Cyrus allows the exiles to return and rebuild. It's the ultimate setup for what's next. After 70 years in Babylon, Cyrus the Great lets the Jewish people return home, bringing back their treasures. Despite huge obstacles, they rebuild the temple, restore their faith, and celebrate a new beginning in Jerusalem. Jerusalem's walls are in ruins until Nehemiah, trusted advisor to the Persian king, boldly asks to rebuild them. Against all odds, the people unite, defend themselves, and in just 52 days, restore the city's walls together. In ancient Persia, Esther, a Jewish orphan, becomes queen. When a plot threatens her people, she bravely risks her life, reveals her identity, and saves them. It's a story of courage, faith, and being in the right place at the right time. The book of Job is the ultimate test of faith. Job loses everything, wealth, family, health, yet refuses to curse God. His suffering sparks a deep debate about faith, justice, and why bad things happen to good people. Okay, let's go. The Book of Psalms is the Bible's ultimate playlist. 150 songs and prayers for every emotion. Joy, anger, hope, sorrow. Written by King David and others, these words let us be honest with God, bring in our real selves, messy, thankful, or hurting. For thousands of years, people have turned to Psalms for comfort and hope. Proverbs is the ultimate life hack manual, pure, concentrated wisdom from King Solomon. It's a guide to choosing wisdom over folly, covering everything from money to relationships. If you want to win at life, start here. Ecclesiastes is a wild ride. King Solomon had it all: wealth, wisdom, pleasure, but called it all meaningless. like chasing the wind. In the end, he says the only thing that gives life meaning is to fear God and keep his commandments. That's the real treasure. The Song of Solomon is the Bible's most passionate love story, an epic celebration of romance, devotion, and beauty. Whether you see it as human or divine love, it's a poetic reminder of love's power and joy. Isaiah is the ultimate prophet. His book is packed with intense warnings, wild hope, and mind-blowing prophecies about the coming Messiah. He predicts exile, return, and a future of restoration, ending with eternal hope for all. Meet Jeremiah, the weeping prophet. For 40 years he warned Judah, change or face Babylon's wrath. Ignored, beaten, and thrown in jail, he never gave up. Yet hidden in his warnings was hope, a promise that after exile, God would restore his people and write a new covenant on their hearts. Lamentations is the Bible's ultimate song of sadness. 5 poems of grief after Jerusalem's destruction, traditionally by Jeremiah. The city is in ruins, the people exiled, and sorrow fills every line. Yet in the middle, hope breaks through. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Lamentations teaches us to grieve honestly, but never lose hope. Next up, Ezekiel. If you thought Jeremiah was wild, just wait. Exiled in Babylon, Ezekiel sees epic visions, creatures with 4 faces, wheels within wheels, and a storm of God's glory. He acts out wild prophecies, shocking the exiles. And then, the legendary vision, dry bones rising, symbolizing hope and restoration for Israel. Daniel and his friends faced the ultimate test, staying true to their faith in Babylon. Against all odds, their courage and trust in God changed everything, leading to miracles, royal favor, and one of the Bible's most epic stories. The book of Hosea is the most shocking metaphor in the Bible. God tells Hosea to marry Gomer, an unfaithful woman, as a living symbol of Israel's betrayal. Yet Hosea's love shows God's relentless, unconditional love and forgiveness. Joel describes a devastating locust plague, a warning of the coming day of the Lord. But if the people truly repent, God promises restoration and pours out his Spirit on everyone. From disaster to deliverance, hope is restored. Meet Amos, a shepherd, not a priest or king. God sends him north to Israel to call out injustice. The rich ignore the poor. Empty rituals replace real compassion. Amos warns, let justice roll like a river. His message, true faith means caring for others or face the consequences. Obadiah is the shortest Old Testament book, just 1 chapter, but it's a fierce prophecy against Edom for betraying Israel. In just 21 verses, it delivers betrayal, justice, and hope for restoration. Tiny but powerful. The book of Jonah is wild. God tells Jonah to warn Nineveh, but Jonah runs the other way. A storm, a ship, and a giant fish later, Jonah gets a second chance. This story is just getting started, and it's absolutely insane. The prophet Micah calls out Israel's leaders for corruption and injustice, warning of coming destruction for Samaria and Jerusalem. But in the middle of judgment, he promises hope. A future ruler from Bethlehem who will bring peace. Act justly, love mercy, walk humbly with God. The book of Nahum is a wild prophecy. Nineveh, once spared, now faces total destruction for its cruelty. God's justice is certain. Nineveh falls and the world celebrates. For Judah, it's liberation and proof that God is on their side. Habakkuk questions God about injustice. In Judah, God answers, Babylon will judge, but they too will fall. Despite confusion, Habakkuk chooses faith, trusting God's plan even in chaos. From complaint to faith, an honest journey we all face. Zephaniah warns Judah, the day of the Lord is coming, a total reset for a corrupt world. But there's hope. Seek God, and you may be sheltered. After judgment, God promises restoration and joy. What a comeback. The Israelites returned from exile, but left God's temple unfinished for years. Haggai called them out. Get your priorities straight. They listened, rebuilt, and God said, I am with you. When you put God first, amazing things happen. Zechariah is packed with wild visions, epic prophecies, and hope. He predicts the Messiah's arrival, riding a donkey, betrayed for silver. God promises to restore Jerusalem and pour out His Spirit, reminding us small faithfulness leads to world-changing victory. Malachi, the last Old Testament book, delivers God's final warning. The people's hearts have grown cold, worship is a joke, and corruption runs deep. But hope remains. God promises a messenger to prepare the way for something huge. It's the ultimate to be continued. "400 years of silence end. Matthew declares Jesus is the long-awaited King, fulfilling prophecy, teaching with authority, performing miracles, and conquering death. The mission begins. Go and make disciples of all nations. The King has arrived." Mark's Gospel is a fast-paced, action-packed story of Jesus as the suffering servant. No long intro, just go. Miracles, teachings, and sacrifice, all leading to the cross. It's raw, powerful, and leaves you breathless. Luke's Gospel is the ultimate, meticulously researched biography of Jesus, written for everyone. He gives us exclusive stories, radical compassion, and unforgettable parables like the Good Samaritan and Prodigal Son. Luke shows Jesus as the Savior for all, with a cliffhanger ending that sets up the next adventure. The Gospel of John zooms out, giving us a cosmic view of Jesus, God in human form. John's 7 signs and I am statements reveal Jesus' divine identity and power over life, death, and nature. His message, believe and have life in his name. The book of Acts is the wild sequel to Luke's gospel. Jesus ascends, the Spirit arrives, and a small, scared group sparks a global movement. Against all odds, the church explodes, spreading like wildfire across the world. The book of Romans is Paul's blueprint for faith, a game changer. Everyone's in the same boat, but Paul reveals the solution: faith in Jesus. It's a free gift, not earned. Grace transforms everything. Ultimate power-up. Corinth's church was chaos, divided, fighting, and losing focus. Paul writes to remind them, you're all on Team Jesus. The message: love is the glue. That's how you solve the biggest church drama. Second Corinthians is Paul's most personal letter, raw, emotional, and honest. He defends himself, shares his struggles, and shows that true strength is found in weakness. It's all about forgiveness, generosity, and real